everyone. This is and welcome to Four Directions Yoga, Hatha Yoga classes, practicing yoga for the lungs today and for breathing. So when we are practicing for our lungs and for breathing, we must also be aware of the tension and stress that we might hold in our shoulders, across our chest, and in our backs, rib cage, because all of these areas, if they're tightly armored with tension, inhibit the amount of release on the inhale and release on the exhale that can occur in our bodies so that breathing is fully efficient and the best it can be. So I'm going to start with some yoga practices that release tension from the upper body to assist with ease of breathing. Then we're going to focus on diaphragmatic breathing techniques, and then we'll also practice some hand postures that assist in breathing and strengthening the capacity of the lungs for breathing. All of this should be done without force and without stress. So as we go through the practice, always keep in mind that we're practicing from our own sensations, that we're only doing what we feel is really comfortable for our bodies, and that we stop when we need to take a break. Before we begin the yoga part, I'll just talk a little bit about the anatomy of breathing and keep this fairly simple. Our lungs sit on top of the breathing diaphragm, and the breathing diaphragm is a muscle that, as I mentioned, the lungs are attached to, and it also attaches to the spine. And as we inhale, the breathing diaphragm moves down and the belly moves out. At that point, air pressure in the lungs is lower than air pressure outside the body, and air rushes in. As we exhale, the belly moves back, the diaphragm moves up, and now air pressure in the lungs is higher than air pressure in the outside room, and air goes out of our lungs. And this process of inhaling belly out, diaphragm down, belly out, exhaling belly back, diaphragm up, occurs all day long, 24/7. Problems we run into with breathing is sometimes we'll hold stress in our bodies. We may have experienced a stressful event or just chronic everyday daily stress that accumulates. And we might start to have a breathing pattern that reflects that. And we might only breathe in the upper chest in a very shallow way, which is a breathing pattern that people adapt when we're stressed. We tense up and then just breathe up in the upper chest. That really is a problematic level of breathing, because studies have shown that when we breathe like that, we actually trigger the stress hormones in the body related to stress. So we're creating an environment internally in our body through shallow breathing that makes the body think that something stressful is occurring, which will in turn continue and encourage the shallow breathing. So yoga fortunately gives us these fantastic opportunities to explore our habit patterns, and then to release the habit patterns that don't work for us and adopt new habit patterns that are healthy and very natural for the body. So we're going to start with some simple yoga practices, exercises that we can do to release tension from as I said, the upper body. So you can start lying on the floor if that's comfortable for you, but all of these postures can be adapted to lying on on a couch or on the bed. So we're going to start, and I've put 2 yoga mats down today so that I can move around so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to start lying on the floor on the back body, and have a blanket or a pillow under the back of your head. This is really important because if the neck is stressed and it's hanging back off of tight shoulders, then our capacity to breathe is shortened. Is decreased. So for ease of breathing, we want the curves of the spine to be released, to be long, and the muscles to be able to relax. So we support the head. And then we're going to start with little boat. And little boat, we draw the knees to the chest. If you need to bring your hands under your knees, then bring them under. And relax the shoulders and arms. Remember I talked about habit patterns a few minutes ago. And if we have a habit pattern of of tensing our arms and shoulders whenever we do anything, that's really going to affect our breathing in an adverse way, because it's going to bring more tension up into the shoulders and chest. So this is little boat, and then we're going to practice little boat twist. And on an exhalation, you take your legs to the side, left or right, wherever you'd like to start, and you try to keep your knees in as close as you can to your front body. Instead of letting them fall away like this, which is not a bad twist, it's just not going to target the upper back in the same way. So we're trying to keep the knees as close to the front body as we can, and then you might feel a stronger stretch around the rib cage and the upper back. So you may feel stronger sensations at that point. Then as we're doing this, you can start to relax more and let the knees fall apart. So as you're taking the knees back to the right, you can let the right knee lead and the left leg will follow. Inhale deeply, exhale, and rest on the side for a few breaths. Letting the shoulders drop back and letting the arm, this left arm, drop back. The arm is hinging off the ground, is sort of suspended off the ground. You can take a blanket or pillow under that arm to support it. Remember, we're trying to de-stress the body and let it drop tension in order for the soft tissues and muscles around the rib cage, the chest, and the upper back to release. So then you can take your knees all the way back to the other side and take a couple of deep breaths, letting the arm drop to the floor. Exhaling, you can take your right leg back to the right and the left leg will follow. If you notice, I'm letting my legs fall apart when I do this, and that's intentional. It's to help the body drop tension. So you let the legs fall apart, inhaling deeply, exhaling. And remember to keep them as close to the front body. Try not to let them wander away. We're moving into those tighter areas of the upper back. On video 2, we also did this pendulum arm movement. If you leave your legs over on the left, you can take your right arm up and over and back to the right. Ensure that you have something under your head. When you do this movement, because you're lying on your shoulder on the side, and we don't want to stress the neck out. So you can move the arm back and forth, sweeping it up to the ceiling, and then sweeping it back. You can also exhale, sweep the arm up to the ceiling, and then bend the elbows and trail the fingers along the arm, across the collarbones and back. And on an exhalation, take your legs to the opposite side. Again, keep them very close to the front body. The stretch on the rib cage and the back will be stronger. It's fine. You can, adjust a little bit if you need to, but as much as you can, keep them close. So again, you can sweep the arm up to the ceiling, reach it out past the other fingertips. Inhale and exhale and bring it back and let it rest on the ground. Feel the breath. We're practicing for the lungs today. Throughout this whole practice, take a deep inhale and exhale. Occasionally, if you cannot breathe through your nose all the time, that's not a problem. Breathe through your mouth if you have to. And again, you can sweep the arm up to the ceiling and trail the fingers back across your right arm and your collarbones, like that. Okay, and then drop. And we'll come back to the center and bring the feet back to the floor, and then resting on the mat, you can bring your hands to your belly and abdomen. And now we're going to check our breathing. We're going to see that as we inhale, the hands can fill with breath. And as you exhale, the hands drop back. And inhale. And exhale. And keep doing that. Take 5, 6, however many breaths you need to really connect to your belly moving out as you inhale, filling your hands, and as you exhale, letting your hands drop back. The lungs are not a muscle. The lungs are soft tissue. The diaphragm is the muscle that moves the lungs. That helps the lungs clear as we exhale and fill with fresh breath as we inhale. So keep diaphragmatic breathing, inhaling into the belly, ribs, chest. Exhale and let your belly sink back. If it's comfortable, pause at the end of the breath, of the exhalation breath, and then inhale again. It's very important to breathe with the diaphragm like this because it allows the lungs to clear out with the exhalation breath, with the powerful muscle of the diaphragm. So try it again, inhaling to the belly, ribs, chest, and exhale and let the belly sink back. If you're comfortable, pause at the end of the inhale. And you can pause at the end of the exhale. But if there's any strain, then back off and don't pause. Another hand posture some people like to do is they'll have one hand on their belly and one hand on the upper chest. And the hands are really helpful because they allow us to feel breath movement. They encourage breath movement. Inhaling into the lower hand, into the belly, into the ribs, and into the chest, into the upper hand. And then as you exhale from the chest, the ribs, and you draw your belly back. You notice I mentioned I had the feet on the floor. This supports a long, released spine without any pressure, and it allows the diaphragmatic breathing to become very easy and deep and complete. Okay, so try that again one more time. And then we're going to turn to the side here, and we're going to come up onto our hands. The other classes we did, if you didn't see them, that's fine. We did cat pose. Cat pose is a really good posture for releasing tension in the upper back. You can, if you're on the floor, you can kneel on the floor and have a folded mat if you need to, if your wrists are sore. Modification I can give for people who can't kneel on the floor is standing. You can stand up with your hands on the wall and round your back up and dip down. Another modification is sitting, if kneeling on the floor is too hard, is sitting in a chair. You can do this movement. This is sitting cat pose. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale, I'm sitting on the floor. If you're more comfortable on a chair, then sit on a chair. So this is cat pose on the ground. We exhale and round the spine up, and inhale and dip the chest down. And exhale and round up. Drop the head and inhale down. And then you can walk your hands over to the side, whichever side you want to start with. I went to the left. Stretch through the arm on the inside. So if your hands are on the left, stretch through the right arm. Let your head drop. Remember to release the neck. Round the spine up and dip down. And then we'll come back to the center and take the hands over to the right and stretch through the left arm. Inhale and exhale. Let your head drop. Breathe into the side ribs. Feel that released movement of breath. If you cannot breathe through your nose right now, breathe through your mouth. Spine rounding up as you exhale, dipping down as you inhale. The sitting variation for that, as I mentioned, sitting cat. You inhale, dip forward, exhale, round back. Inhale, dip forward, exhale, round back. And to sit and stretch your side ribs, you can do the side bending movement. Sitting, you don't have to kneel on the floor. Sitting on a chair is fine. Okay, those are those things to release the side ribs, because if the side rib muscles and the back muscles are tight, our breath is restricted. So another posture for the upper back and to release tension is little dog. You bring your elbows forward, pelvis is up, and then you drop your head toward the floor and release your chest toward the ground. This can be really strong in the upper back. Just do what you can. And then take some deep breaths here, inhaling deeply and exhaling. You might feel your body lift as you inhale and drop as you exhale. And take a few more breaths. If you're still a little dog, stay there for a few more breaths. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. Very important to release tension from the upper back. And then for the chest area, to release tension from the chest, there's a few things we can do. Some of the things we can do at home to help. We want to try to open up across the collarbones. So one option is to bring your hand to the wall and then step forward with the foot that's towards the wall. I find that helpful. You can experiment at different distances from the wall. Your hand can be low, medium, height, or up high. And if this is new to the body and you haven't done this before or in a long time, it can be a fairly strong stretch across the collarbones. So again, just do what you can. Breathe into this. Notice what happens to the breath as we're stretching. Sometimes it will feel a strong sensation in a stretch, and you breathe into it, and then sensation gets more released, and we start to integrate the stretch. Right? So again, on this side, low, medium, and high. Okay, so those are some things we can do for the muscles of the body to help improve our breathing. Then we'll go back to the breathing itself, and we already started to do this when we were lying on the back with our feet on the floor. You can do what I'm going to describe now. You can do that lying down as well, and you can do this lying in a chair. So we're going to do this released breath as we're sitting. First, we're going to start to notice what our breath is actually like. So you can have your eyes closed or open, have your neck released, your hands can be wherever they're comfortable for you. And see about breathing now through your nose. We'll try to do that. Try to inhale and exhale through your nose. And pay attention to what's happening to your breath, to the emotions, the physical sensation, the emotions, the sense of release or tension that's in the breath. We respond to startle a response or stress response often by changing our breathing, and then whatever it is that stressed us out is long gone, but we may have that habit of shallow breathing or tension in our breathing. So we're not trying to get rid of things in this practice, we're trying to become mindful of them. When we become mindful of them, the body knows we're listening to it, it knows we're paying attention, and it can start to relax. And it can start to incorporate a deeper, more natural, organic style of breathing that goes back before stress occurred. So just take your time, eyes can be closed or open, feel your inhalation and your exhalation, and try to breathe through your nose. As you inhale, let the belly come forward. As you exhale, let the belly go back. For this year, you might want to have your hands on your stomach, on your belly, and feel the hands fill with breath as you inhale and move back as you exhale. This is diaphragmatic breathing again, and it strengthens the muscle of the diaphragm so that the lungs empty out when we exhale, and there's more room for fresh breath when we inhale. Now I'm going to take us through a series of exercises, breathing exercises, that lead to a breathing pattern called Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati means clearing the skull, and it involves active exhalation and passive inhalation. So the breath is like this, it's done through the nose. the diaphragmatic breath. If you're familiar with Kapalabhati and you know it, go ahead. If you're not familiar with it, then stay with these instructions. So the first part is what we've done already, establishing the diaphragmatic breath. Now we're going to exhale and draw the belly back and pause. And inhale and the belly will release as you relax. Exhale, draw the belly way back, pause. Relax the belly and you'll inhale. So just notice that this is a very slow motion Kapalabhati breathing. Exhale, draw the belly back, back, back. Pause. Relax the belly, let it fall forward, and your body will inhale. And then try that again. I see how that works. If that's enough for today, then just do that much and stop. If you want to continue with the video and want to add a few more things, or just listen to the rest of it and see what's coming up, that's fine. But do not stress your breathing. If you've had enough and you just want to listen to the rest of the video, that's fine. You can come back and do the rest of this another day. Once we've established that extended exhalation that's active and the inhalation that's passive, we're going to now incorporate something a little quicker. And this is a breathing that can be done through the mouth. Some people call it the Ha breath, and it's practiced like this. So as you can see in here, I'm pulling my belly back on the exhalation, and I'm letting it fall forward on the inhalation. So the exhalation is active, the inhalation is passive. This strengthens the diaphragm, it clears out the lungs. It's very helpful. I've had people with asthma tell me when they breathe like this, practice this in yoga practice, when they go about their daily life, they don't need their puffer as much. So that's a good thing. So let's try that again, and then we'll add the next step. So there's extended exhalation breathing, slow, then this quicker, active exhalation, passive inhalation, Ha breath. Okay, is that okay? You might want to have a drink of water. Now we'll try the Ha breath with the mouth shut, and that's Kapalabhati. So with Kapalabhati, some people find they get confused about when they're inhaling and exhaling, and I always say that's because maybe we're thinking about it too much and not feeling it. So if you have your hands on your belly again, you'll feel your belly move back as you exhale and fall forward as you inhale. Remember, the exhalation is active, the inhalation is passive. So what we're going to do now is take a deep inhale and a deep exhale and go back to regular breathing, and then stretch for a moment, stretch your legs out. If you're sitting in a chair, maybe get up and walk around for a moment, have a drink of water, and then we're going to try this for 2 minutes, just practicing. And when we do this for 2 minutes, you can do any of the breathing practices that extend the exhalation and have passive inhalation for this practice to strengthen the diaphragm. So during our 2-minute practice, I have my clock here, my watch, my phone. We're going to exhale back and pause at the end of the exhalation and inhale and release. That's the slow version. We can practice Ha breath. Or we can practice full Kapalabhati. And you can go back and forth between any of these. But this is sort of like if we wanted to strengthen our leg muscles and decided to do it through walking, we wouldn't start a marathon right away. We would work up to maybe 3 or 4 kilometers. So we might start off, if we were really needing to strengthen ourselves, we might only walk half a kilometer the first time, and then slowly build up to 1 kilometer, and then 1.5 kilometers. Right? So 2 minutes might be a lot. At any time in the 2-minute period, if you need to take a break, you do a deep inhale, deep exhale. Truly, anytime we're paying attention to our breathing and breathing diaphragmatically, even if it's just for 30 seconds, is a benefit. So let's start. I'm going to do a sequence where I'm doing that extended exhalation, then I'm going to move into Ha breath, and then I'm going to move into Kapalabhati, and then I'll move back to extended exhalation, Ha breath and Kapalabhati over the course of these 2 minutes. Okay? So let's begin. Now inhale deeply and suspend the inhalation breath for as long as you'd like. Exhale deeply. Try a few more. Inhaling, letting the belly come forward and suspend. Exhaling, letting the belly sink back. And release when you're ready. That can take practice. Adjusting the way we breathe to breathe diaphragmatically, if it's something new to us, is a very deep shift for the body. So if that was new and somewhat challenging, do not be disheartened. It is actually exciting to find something that is new, interesting, and somewhat challenging, because then we have something to work on. The last thing I'd like to show and share is 4 hand postures for the lungs. So the first one involves the thumb and index finger stretched out, and you bring them to the lower lungs. The hands are facing the floor, they're not collapsed on our rib cage. They're facing the floor and the shoulders are released. And we'll do these for about 30 seconds each. And you can, if you've had enough Kapalabhati, you can do them with just regular breathing. So your eyes can be closed or slightly open. Breathe through your nose, breathe diaphragmatically. We're not trying to breathe specifically into the hands or force the breath in any way. This practice trusts the body to be able to know what to do. It trusts the energy of the hands. So you breathe and in and breathe out diaphragmatically. This is for lower lungs. Keep breathing in and out diaphragmatically. The hands are steady. Thumb and forefinger are open on the lower ribs. The next one then is to bring the thumbs up to the level of the armpit and the fingers are crossed. Depending on the size of your hands and the size across your chest, your middle fingers might touch and they might not. Then inhale here and exhale. And this is for the upper lungs. Again, you can do this with regular diaphragmatic breathing or Kapalabhati breathing. Inhaling deeply, letting the belly come forward, ribs, chest fill with breath. Exhaling, letting the belly sink back. The hands are facing the floor, they're not collapsed down. Even though our arms are up a little bit, the shoulders can relax. That's it, keep going, a few more breaths. Inhaling deeply and exhale, and this is for the upper lungs, the front of the body. That's it, then release the hands. The third one is to take your hands like this and bring them onto the upper back. Bring them in on the upper back. A lot of people find this one a little bit challenging. Sometimes they'll drop their elbows, that's okay. Just relax into the hands on the high upper back. And there are lungs this far upper back. They're very high lungs. And so in this practice, with these hand postures, the energy of the hands is said to benefit these areas of the body. So this is for the high upper lungs, so keep breathing diaphragmatically, inhaling to the belly, ribs, chest, and exhaling. You may find that your breath naturally goes to your hands, but we're not forcing it into the hands. Always with the tissues of the lungs, even that strong Kapalabhati breathing. It's quick, but it's not harsh. Letting the belly come forward as you inhale. Draw it back as you exhale. That's what strengthens the diaphragm, and that's what benefits the lungs in terms of the movement of muscles. The hand position is an energetic position. And the last one, the last hand mudra, is you interlace your fingers and then extend the middle finger and the thumb. And then you bring the thumb to the area of the collarbone where it the breastbone where it dips in, and the thumb is on the notch between the collarbones. And then you relax your shoulders, and this is said to be for the whole lung. So full deep inhalation, letting the belly, ribs, chest expand. Full deep exhalation, letting the belly sink back. And keep going. Full deep inhalation. Full deep exhalation. This is for the whole lung. couple more breaths. Full deep inhale, full deep exhale. And then after your last exhalation, just release your hands to your sides. And breathe normally. And at the end of this practice, I would recommend that you lie down again. Yoga, we generally lie down on the back body. You can bring your hands onto your belly and abdomen. Have a blanket under the back of your head. You can breathe into your hands. Diaphragmatically inhaling, belly comes forward, ribs, chest fill with breath, exhaling back. So we're strengthening and using the diaphragm in order to benefit the lungs. And then you can also practice a breath awareness exercise for the upper back and the lower back. You can do this in many ways. Here's one suggestion. You can be aware of your lower back and breathe into the lower back a few times. Lying on your back body. Then bring your attention to your upper back. People often notice when they bring their attention to any part of the body, breath moves there. Then try breathing into your lower back again. Bring your attention to your lower back and your breath will move there. Bring your attention to your upper back. We have a lot of lung capacity on the back of our bodies. Because we're not as aware of the back body as we are aware of our front body, we often don't breathe into it. If people tell us to take a deep breath, we sometimes just breathe into our chest. So I hope this is helpful. Now we have a new perspective perhaps on breathing with some ideas about physical exercises to release tension from the muscles that kind of armor around the breathing area and limit it. We have some ideas for diaphragmatic breathing, which helps to strengthen the diaphragm and thereby clear the lungs. There's the extended exhalation, the ha breath, and kapalabhati breathing. And then we had those 4 hand postures to practice. So thank you very much for this class and have a great rest of the day. Namaste.